Hemlock is the worst support mech. How does it work, you ask? Step 1, Yeetus. Step 2. So what makes it so bad? Does it have some kind of unique drawback like Stalker? No, it is perfectly unaffected. Does it have bad stats? No, they are all infuriatingly high. Okay, well, does it have a really long cooldown or something? No, actually, a legendary implant will allow you to permanently stun an opponent for all of time. So what exactly is the problem here? The failure in Hemlock is not in the mech, but in its class. So allow me to lay it out for you. There are 3 general types of players in any game. The damage dealers, which we will call the basic Bs for accuracy purposes. There are the damage receivers, which we will call the tanks. Now, of course, in Mech Arena, the basic Bs would have a subcategory called the even more basic Bs. But the third type of player is the supportive player, which we will call the Chads. Hemlock, however, is the least fitting mech for the support role. Now, there are a few important questions here, like what is a support? What is the difference between a supportive item and a supportive playstyle? Why is Panther not a legendary mech? These are all great questions to ask. Now, it's pretty obvious that a supportive item and a supportive playstyle are not the same thing. Minigun is clearly not a supportive item. However, I could fire at an enemy and leave them on low HP and allow my teammates to get the kill. That is a supportive playstyle. Just because I am doing that does not make minigun a support weapon, though, so in order to define a supportive item, I think it is safe to call it any item whose inherent perks or abilities benefit your team more than they benefit yourself. Great examples of this are Percusant MD. They apply a radius, they apply a buff to themselves, however they apply double that buff in the radius around them to their allies. So currently, there are 7 support mechs. 4 of them are damage dealers. 2 of them are, you better not look at me or I'm going to keep you from playing the game. And the one remaining poor uncommon soul is MD, which would be the one and only healer. Healing is a difficult thing to balance, I understand that. However, it is the basis for the support playstyle. It is the heart and soul of everything a support player wants. So when you essentially rip that away from about a third of the player base who really wants to use things like MD but just physically cannot while still performing effectively, then you end up with mechs in a support class such as Hemlock. So what makes Hemlock such a bad support mech? Well, apart from the total BS EMP knockoff, which I think a lot of people already know, I'm not fond of abilities that don't allow you to play the game, but allow me to draw your attention to this specific detail right here. Anyone who damages the mech that is in sleep will immediately leave the effect, but have a short EMP duration afterward. So what does this mean? That means the ideal playstyle for Hemlock is with the least amount of teammates possible, because the amount of communication, the amount of coordination that you would need to accurately use this in a team-based setting, even if it's a full team on Discord, not even like bots. Bots are a different story altogether. But the amount of communication and cooperation needed for this to even perform mildly effectively is absurdly high. So what is Hemlock? It's a 1v1 mech, that's all it is. Now if you were to ask me where I would place this mech, I would place it in the dumpster. However, if I had to put it in the game somewhere, I would put it as a support because that is the class that it fits the best into. That doesn't mean that it fits the support class well. I don't think anyone needed this ability, I don't think anyone wanted this ability, and frankly, it is a slap in the face to anyone, Sanji, who's been waiting for a higher tier healer mech to actually play the supportive playstyle that players want to play. But it's here, it's in the game, it's probably not going to change, but most definitely they're not going to add another support mech anytime soon. Probably not for another 6 months or so, at least. So now we have to wait even longer with another, quote, support mech of high tier that nobody really wants, nobody really needs, and most certainly nobody can actually use in a supportive way. This, of course, is just my first impressions of the mech. Everything is subject to change. I never want to stick to one specific answer, especially when it comes to things that are new and I have little information about. That said, this is my official review of Hemlock, so let me know in the comments what you guys think is the best weapon for this mech. I'm just kidding, it's EM rifle. 2 out of 6 stars.